And so we kind of talked about stressors that children go through in general, but I want to kind of talk about stressors that kids go through in school and how that could be, it's so important. So some of the challenges that people might go through, right? So first and foremost is that the idea of realizing, you have kids, one of the first things is academics, right? So that whole idea of fear of failure or getting the proper grades that a parent's expectations, right? So that by itself is huge, right? Because they want to make sure every year you want to do well, but you want to make sure that you sometimes, as they get older, they start seeing what others can do and where they stand. So that by itself is a stressor. Then the parents' expectation of their stressor. And the idea of what they should do are some sort of subjects that they're not having struggles and kind of realizing, wow, now math is getting tough for me. Maybe it was easy for me in second, third, fourth grade, but now by middle school, high school, it's tough. So those become stressors for individuals. And then the idea that with academics becomes tougher, to challenge themselves. So sometimes you're like, well, should I take the honors class? Should I take the AP class? But then also it could become stressors because you're also competing with some of the most top students. That's why you see sometimes in college when people who go to very Ivy League schools where everyone or academically strong students, and they realize that now they've scored, they're in the middle of the class. Sometimes it's very challenging. Sometimes where the biggest depression, the stress is in a lot of the high Ivy League schools where everyone is gunners, right? And where everyone's their top students, and now they realize, wait a minute, I'm not the top student anymore. And it could be devastating and realize, well, no, you still have the potential. You just got to realize the pool of kids that you are around, everyone's at that same level. So it takes that extra rigor. That extra rigor can get some kids stressed out. So kind of keeping those things in mind. It can happen at a high school level. It can happen at middle school, honors programs, so keep those things in mind. The social pressures, right? Just fitting in, being a sense of belonging, who to hang out with, who not to hang out with, who to talk to, who not to talk to. Kind of those specific things, it's very important to kind of keep those things in mind as we go ahead and take care of. The other thing is uncertainty about the future, right? I think when we have uncertainty about what we want to do, where are we, what we have, am I going to be good? Am I going to do well? What's going to happen? Sometimes outside factors come in. So it could be like, hey, try to make this sports team. I want to be a part of this club. Hey, do I still have the same friends? Am I still going to be at the same school? Those are all challenges that kids might be going through, right? The other kind of things like, okay, my major future, which college I'm going to go to? My parents went here, I have to get there. If they don't, they're going to be disappointed, or everyone's asking me. So you'll see that everyone has certain things that they're going to be going through, the challenges. But then you also might have just regular day examination assessments, right? Making sure that they do well, they score well, pop quizzes that they might have, right? Managing the deadlines that our kid has. Can they make sure that they get their deadlines taken care of? And that kind of gets frustrating for kids, and making sure that they maybe have to work and have to do it at school time. Can they balance that off? Are they able to do that? So I think that becomes very important. Difficulty in organizing time, right? If they could organize time in the proper way, how is, can they realize and be appreciative of that? So I think it's so important to kind of realizing some kids have a tough time just kind of balancing, right? Maybe when they were young, it was easy because their parents were doing it, but now as they're going independent, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, they got to put the assignments in, they got to write their homework down. Parents in middle school, their teachers are not going to be always saying, hey, you missed this assignment. Can they organize? And some kids just have a hard time functioning and doing that. So that becomes a stressor for a person in school. That poor time management and balancing themselves out. So not organizing it, then also maybe they're not organized, but they're procrastinators. So helping them deal with that becomes a different thing. And then because of that, the assignments at the last minute, that stresses them out, right? And then sometimes as kids going through, they might realize at school, because the parents maybe at a private school, or they have some specific programs that they need money for, and the parents can't pay for it. That becomes sometimes like, well, I want to be a part of this, but I know my parents will not be able to pay for this club, whatever this is there, or maybe you're at a private school, so maybe this year we're not going to be able to come here anymore, that's going to not look good. Or maybe I'm applying for high school and college, I want to go to this college, but I can't. So you see that kids go through a lot of different kind of things. So it's so important for us as educators and as parents to understand some of the stressors of kids, that it is not that easy as we all think it is, right? And these are all different factors that kind of come into play. So we always kind of hope that our kids, do well and be successful. But the more that we understand them, the better it would be. Take care.